Now let's see what exactly Apex unit test is. I've been talking about it from so long, I think you might have got it already, but if you haven't, then let's have a look. So unit tests are class methods that verify whether a particular piece of code is working properly or not. So it's nothing. Inside a test class, you have got multiple unit test methods, which you call as unit test, which verify a particular functionality of a particular code, and yeah, that's how it does the testing. So like in order to test a bigger application, you need different unit tests for different functionalities. So that's what a unit test basically means, and you can relate it like this. So for a functional requirement, for a single functionality, you need to have a single unit test, and you can also have multiple unit tests for a single functionality for different scenarios. But you can also include that those different scenarios inside the same unit test as well, if that is something that you think is feasible for you. But at the end of the day, it's up to you how many tests you want to execute inside a single unit test method, or you want to create different unit tests for different scenarios or stuff like that. Completely depends on to the requirement of the code that you are testing. Next, unit test methods take no argument, commit no data. So this is important. You can just like underline it. Okay. So it takes no arguments, commits no data to the database. So even if you are trying to test a functionality in which, the code is supposed to create some records into the database, or update some records into the database, or delete some record into the database, don't worry. While testing, it will show you that it has created a record, inserted a record, or updated a record, or deleted a record. But at the end of the execution of the test class, or at the end of the execution of the unit test, all of that will be rolled back, and nothing will get committed into the database. So that's what I mean. So let's say there's a code which is written which deletes 10 account records or 10 contact records into the database, from the database, and you are testing that code. So it will not delete anything from the database, but it will just show you into the test run that it has deleted some records from the database, right? That's how it will go. We'll understand that later on with the help of an example. It's a big thing that we need to discuss, but anything that you execute in a test run or inside a unit test which does any database operation, or which makes any database operation, that is not committed into the database, and hence it gets rolled back automatically. You do not have to even write down any code to remove the data that you think you created while executing the test cases, right? So like let's say there's a code which is written with the help of which you can insert 5 contact records. So if you think that you're testing this code for 5 times, there will be 5 into 5, 25 records which will get created into the database. But that will not happen. Why? Because it automatically gets deleted, or it automatically gets rolled back, or nothing gets committed into the database while you're executing a unit test inside Apex. So that's what it is. Okay, and it sends no emails. Again, if there is a functionality with the help of which you can send an email, if that code gets executed by the test class, then no email will be sent, and are flagged with the test method keyword or is test annotation. So this is important. Unit tests are flagged with is test annotation. So it stands like this: is test annotation A, or there is another thing, test method keyword. So whenever you will be creating a unit test, you can just mark it by test method or by @is_test annotation, anything that you feel correct. Okay, all test methods must be defined in the test class, that is the class annotated with isTest. So you'll be creating a different class which should also be annotated with @isTest annotation to tell the compiler that it's a test class, it's not a normal class, it's a class which we have created to test other classes or other code which is written inside our Salesforce org. So it should also be annotated with @isTest annotation, and we can create different test methods to test different functionalities, exactly as I explained it to you earlier. In each test method, write different test cases to test your code whether it is working properly with the different inputs or not. In each test method, write different. Okay, yeah. I mean, again, in each test method, you have to write down different test cases to test different functionalities, or to test the same functionality with different situations or different scenarios. Okay, now let's go to our Salesforce org and see that how we can actually create a simple test class to test a code which we have also written down in Apex.